what's up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Geo in the house. Today we doing mobile. Well, anyway, excuse the gruffy look. I look real. I haven't shaved. Anyway, welcome to my channel. To those who have not been in my channel before, I am King Geo. I am the host of the King Geo Show. Now, I want to talk to you today about the new law that passed in Tennessee, the child support DUI law. Tell me if you would agree with this. I know I am. But anyway, so Tennessee passed a law the other day that states that if you are convicted of drunk driving, if you get a DUI, driving under the influence, and you get into an accident, and in that accident you cause the death of the parent or the parents, and you leave that child without a parent, you are responsible for child support. So, in other words, this child, you have an accident, you're under the influence of alcohol, you accidentally kill this person. Now that child no longer has the parents. Now you have to be responsible and pay for that child support. You have to pay for that child. You're supposed to support that child financially. I think that is a great idea. I mean, I think a lot of people go behind the wheel. They don't think that, and I'm not going to be excused because I was one of them when I was an alcoholic. I many times I've been behind the wheel, so I accept my responsibility. Thank God that nothing ever happened. But some people, I did it because I was an alcoholic. But a lot of people like to drink and drive. A lot of people like to go out to party, and they don't think and they don't take the responsibility that you have to. When you drink and drive, there's a responsibility. When you're drinking, there's a responsibility that you should not be driving. And if you're going to go out there and you're going to be irresponsible to drive while you're drinking, then you should be held accountable to what happens after that. So if you have an accident, the same way if you have an accident, you have to pay for damages, then you're responsible for supporting that child, because now you left that child without a parent. Now who's going to take care of that child? What now, is it the system is going to pay for that child's well-being? And you don't want the system to do that. So it is your responsibility as a human being to take care of that child, because you were the one that took it upon yourself to drink and drive, when there are other alternatives where you can assign yourself a driver. You know, someone that doesn't drink can go with you. You can always do Uber. You can always take it. If they don't have Uber, a taxi, or you sleep in your car. Remember one thing, though. Remember one thing, babe. I'm going to say this, and I cannot emphasize in this. Some states, not all, but some states, even if your car is parked, and your keys are in the ignition, and if it's not turned on, in some states that's considered DUI, even though you're not driving. In some states you can leave it in your dash, that's still considered DUI. So make sure you're familiar with your local laws. You should be drinking and driving, period. But if you're going to sleep in your car and you're going to sleep it off, make sure the law that if you sleep in your car and your keys are on you, if an officer stops you for whatever reasons and wants to check you, that they cannot arrest you because you're sitting in your car sleeping it off, which is the responsible thing to do. But there are laws out there in the state, so I want you to be careful with that before you do that. But going back to Tennessee, that's one law that should be nationwide, because it's the good thing to do. Like what Trump did. One thing that I give Donald Trump that he did do is that he made animal abuse a federal offense. You abuse an animal, now it's a federal offense. Whether maybe a lot of people don't even know that yet, but I'm telling you, now it's a federal offense, which is a good thing to do, because there are so many people who are abandoning it. I mean, who mistreat their animals, their dogs, their cat, for whatever reason. An animal should not be mistreated. If you cannot handle an animal, if you cannot take care of an animal, then don't get one. Animals are cute when they're small, but when they become big, they become a responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And if you cannot take care of it, just don't have it. A lot of people's like, oh, I want to have a dog, and I want my dog to have babies, because I want it to feel motherhood. No, don't do that. That's irresponsible. Do not do that. So the law is a good law. I applaud it. I give Tennessee credit for that. And it's something, like I said, it should be something that should be nationwide, because hopefully it'll give conscience to people before I drive drunk. Let me think of what could happen. See, a lot of people say, oh, I drive better when I'm drunk. It's fallacy. It really is fallacy. We have to hold people accountable for their actions. It's the same way I left a questionnaire survey the other day. Should people who deal in drugs and people who get caught dealing drugs and it has fentanyl in it, should those people get life sentences? And I say yes, because fentanyl is a drug that out there, just I saw the other day, just a little bit could kill 25 people, and you should be held responsible. You're just selling the drug, just the same way that they sued the pharmaceutical companies because of the opioids. They said they held them responsible, which they should not be held responsible, because you're selling a drug, you're giving a drug stick, you take the pain away, and some people, instead of wanting the pain, they get addicted to it. You create your own addiction, I should speak. It's not the company's fault, but that's the way they saw it. They sued, they won, and drugs is the same thing. If you get caught and the drug that you're selling has fentanyl and that person overdosed from that fentanyl, you should be held responsible for that. You really should. Plain and simple. We have to stop. We have to abolish this thing about the capital punishment. That does nothing for murder, because even though Texas is one of those states that does capital punishment, that the death penalty, even when they got it, they say, oh, it's going to lower crime. No, it does not lower crime. People, whoever's going to do what they're going to do what they're going to do regardless. You know, they figured, I'm 20 years of death row. I have 20 years in my pocket. I'm going to die anyway, right? That's the way they see it. But if you do it reversely and you say, you know what? I'm going to give you, instead of giving you the death penalty, I'm going to give you life in prison, but I'm going to confine you. There's not going to be no TV. There's not going to be no recreation. Just you in your room. Give them a book or two to read. Give them the Bible. Let them find the Lord in jail. But you won't see the light of day. That would be me. You wouldn't see the light. You wouldn't see the light of the light of day, because you took a life away. You took a life away, and an eye for an eye, that doesn't do anything. You know, the other person, the family's suffering. You're not suffering because you're in jail. You're about to die. So I think a longer sentence. You know, other countries don't even have that. Or other countries, they let you with the general population. In other countries, you live good. Switzerland and Norway, Netherlands, prison there's like a hotel. But their crime is not like our crime. We don't have that much. They don't have that much crime like we do. So it's different. Here we should be able to. We should have been able to rehabilitate people. There are people that do deserve second chances, and sometimes even third, because sometimes you don't learn, you know. But that's what it is. That's another topic. I digress. But anyway, so we should do that. That Tennessee law about paying child support if you get caught with if you're convicted of a DUI and you take a parent away, is an excellent law. It should be a law that should be nationwide. That's the way I feel. Be responsible for the things that you do. Don't be crying saying, if I would have known, you knew beforehand, before you grabbed that key, before you drove off. And be a responsible friend and tell that person, you know, let me drive. Let me drive. You're drunk. You're a little bit tipsy. Let me do the driving. And when we get home, I'll give you the keys or whatever the case may be. But don't let another friend drive drunk. You know, it's not good. So be responsible. Know that there's repercussions to everything that you do, good or bad. You do good things happen. You do bad things will happen. So be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Think about it. Think about it. You know, think of what could happen. Don't think it might not happen or it's not going to happen. Think of what can happen. What could happen? That split decision that you make can be the meaning of life and death. Can be the meaning of you taking a life away from someone, and it can mean you ruining your own life. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and do so.